2024 was a surprisingly good year for horror, so this is my top 10 horror movies of 2024. Before we begin, I must stress that I tried to watch as many horror movies as I could in 2024, but the one notable absent one from this list is Nosferatu. I just didn't have the time to see the movie. It didn't come out here until the 1st of January 2025, and I've just not been able to get time to see that movie. I think that's the only one in the 2024 lists that probably would have made it onto my top 10. So the reason you're not seeing it in my top 10 is because I haven't seen it. And at number 10 is Late Night with the Devil. This was a surprising one because the look of the film, it looked pretty cool. The concept of it has obviously been done to death, as well with the found footage mixed with it as a real documentary, as a real TV show. I think they were really smart with this one because the acting in the film was fantastic. The premise of it was unique because it made you think at the end of the movie. I did do a review for this. If you want to see a review for it and any of the other films on this list that I did do a review for, then you can certainly watch them. So these are not going to be full-on reviews. But Late Night with the Devil itself, a really good flick that I was pretty surprised with. Coming in at number 9 is Strange Darling. I think the reason this is on the list is purely for the acting alone. Now, the premise of it was cool. I liked the fact that they had like 6 chapters or something, and we were showing these chapters in all different places in a different order from the movie itself. Had they shown the film in order, then we would have saw the twist in the movie. So I'm glad that they showed us it the way that they did. But for me, I think the acting was absolutely outstanding. Kyle Garner is obviously great in everything that he does, a great final boy in the horror genre. But Willa Fitzgerald, her performance in this film was one of the best performances I've seen from any actress in a long time. And that doesn't just mean in the horror genre. I'm talking about in all genres. If she's not nominated for Best Actress, I don't know what she's going to do. And at number 8 is Heretic. This one was the last movie on the list to be added to the list. Believe it or not, I only seen this movie a couple of days ago. I didn't get to see it at the cinema when it first came out because I was busy, but I wasn't blown away with this one. I think the film itself was good, but I think the dialogue between Hugh Grant and the two girls is what makes it for me. It is a thought-provoking film as well about religion. It makes you think to yourself in the real world, what is religion? What's true? What's not true? What should I believe? What shouldn't I believe? And I think as a faith-based movie, it makes you think, what am I doing here? What should I believe in? And the good thing about Heretic is it doesn't tell you what's the right thing to do and what's the wrong thing to do. All it does is leaves a lasting impression on you to think to yourself, And at number 7 is Tera Fire 3. This one is one where I know that some people are going to disagree with because it can be overrated at times. I think a lot of people jump on the Tera Fire and the Art the Clown bandwagon and tell us it's the greatest thing since Halloween. It's not. It's nowhere near that. But what I did have with Tera Fire 3 is a lot of fun. I think with Tera Fire 1 and 2, they're very amateurly made, whereas Tera Fire 3, it's the same crew, but they had more money. So it does show that Damien Leone can make a really good, competent horror film if he's got the backing and the funding behind it. And that's what he showed with Tera Fire 3. I think the gore was much better, much more realistic. The acting was a lot better as well. And the story was probably the most coherent story in the Tera Fire franchise. So in terms of the franchise moving forward, it certainly is. I like the Christmas aspect of the film as well. They really utilised the Halloween theme and the Christmas theme at the same time. So it was genius in terms of how they made the film. But for me, I really enjoyed it. And at number 6 is A Quiet Place Day One. It's one of the ones that a lot of people will forget about because it came out closer to the beginning of the year. But I enjoyed this one as well for being a third movie in a franchise. Sometimes when you get to the third one, kind of like Terrifier 3, when you get to the third film in a franchise so close together, you sometimes get bored of them, but I'm glad what they done with this one was go back in time. They made it a prequel with the events of how it all took place, how it all broke out. It's something that I was thinking about when watching the first movie and then the second movie, and I thought, oh, it would be interesting to see what it would look like in a certain area, and I got that with A Quiet Place Day One. And at number 5 is Alien Romulus. It's the one on the list that I think was the least horror out of them all, because I tend to see movies like The Predator and Alien films as more sci-fi than horror. But I think what Fede Alvarez done with the Alien film was make it more horror, similar to what they done with the first movie. That's why I appreciate this one. Now, I know a lot of people think to themselves they're just trying to copy the first film, and they probably are. The good thing for me is I'm not a fan of the Alien franchise. I don't love the Alien franchise. I will watch them, but I don't absolutely love them to the point where I think that a movie coming out in the franchise could make or break the franchise. That's not me. So I will watch each one on their own merits and think, was that good? Was it not? And with Alien Romulus, I thought it was excellent. And then number 4 is Longlegs. Now, this is one where I did do a video a few videos ago saying that one of the most overrated films of 2024 was Longlegs, and I still stand by that. I think it is one of the most overrated films of the year. And the reason I said that is because people are saying it's the scariest film they've ever seen. It's the best horror film they've ever seen. And for me, it's not anywhere near those things. For the year, absolutely, it's one of the best horrors of 2024. I just think it was slightly overrated. So anyone who's not seen it yet, being told that it's the best film ever, get into it. You're expecting to see that, and you'll be slightly disappointed, I would say. But for me, I went into it knowing that every film is the greatest horror movie ever. So I'm used to that. So get into it, I didn't have any expectations, and I was blown away because the acting was fantastic. Very somber performance by Mike Monroe, and the whole cast as well, apart from Nicolas Cage, of course. He gave a Nicolas Cage performance, but it was a really good film, some nice twists and turns in it, great cinematography, and the directing was fantastic as well. And then number 3 is The Substance. This is one where I was completely blown away by this film, because when I saw that Demi Moore was attached to the movie, I thought, Demi Moore in a horror film in 2024? I'll watch it, of course, because I used to love Demi Moore, but Demi Moore hasn't been front and centre in a film this big for years. So I was obviously skeptical going into it, but the trailer really intrigued me because I loved the style of the trailer, and the style of the trailer is exactly what you get with the movie. It was so stylistic, so futuristic as well, without being totally out there like Total Recall or Terminator or anything like that. It just felt like so surreal and realistic at the same time. And obviously it's a really important metaphor when it comes to seeing not just women, but men and women trying to change their bodies, trying to impress other people but themselves, to the point where nobody even recognizes them, not even themselves. And then number 2 is Smile 2. Now, I loved Smile. I thought the concept was great. It was quite unique. And then when I heard there was going to be a Smile 2, I thought they were going to slightly ruin it for me, because I loved the concept and the uniqueness of the first movie. But I was pleasantly surprised with Smile 2, because it did feel like it was a copy of the first movie, but it had different characters, apart from Joel, of course, who had a fantastic it's like a one take at the beginning of the movie, which was great, one of the best moments in the film. But with new characters, you have to get to know these characters again. And similar to Willa Fitzgerald, I think, what's her name? Is it Naomi Scott or Naomi Harris? Naomi Scott, I think it is, the main character. She gave an absolutely amazing performance. When it comes to choosing my best actress of the year, it's going to be very hard, because people like Willa Fitzgerald and Naomi Scott, they give amazing performances for 2024, and I think that's what elevates Smile 2. And then number 1 is Speak No Evil. Yes, the remake of the 2022 film with the same name, Speak No Evil. I watched the original after I watched the remake. I've said this time and time again, but the remake for me was great. It's very Hollywood. I know that. I know that the ending of the movie isn't what people wanted to see because of what happened at the end of the original movie. But I think with the original film, we saw that bleak ending that it was intended to happen. If we saw the same ending for the remake, people would complain and say, you've just done the exact same as the original. So I'm glad they changed it up a bit. I put it into this world where the family or the bad people in the original movie, they've done this time and time again and never get caught. I just seen it as a semi-sequel with different actors playing the roles, and this is the time they get caught. Acting was amazing as well. The acting's been brilliant for 2024 with actors and actresses. James McAvoy, though, he completely steals the show. He was absolutely menacing. It was so scary. Everybody else was in it, and it was great as well. Is it Mackenzie Davis? She plays the mum. Obviously, I'm not a mother, I'm a father, but just seeing the shock and the horror in her face when she thought her daughter was going to die, I was in tears. I thought, this is amazing. This acting is brilliant. The acting outweighs the film itself, but that happens from time to time with a lot of horror films. This year alone, the acting outperforms the story as well. So I'm not just putting this at number one for the film, I'm putting it at number one for absolutely everything. So that's my top 10 horror movies of 2024, guys. Like I said, Nosferatu's not there because I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't want to put it on because I've not seen it. There's other films that just missed out in the top 10 spot, but what I want to know from you guys is, do you agree with my top 10? Do any of these movies reach your top 10 of 2024? And is there any other recommendations that you think maybe I've not seen that I should see that might have made it on the list? Leave that list down below, guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.
Oh, well, that is very sweet of you to say.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone to